Have you ever spent so much time with someone that one day you suddenly realize they're the first person you want to talk to? Not because you planned it, not because anything dramatic happened, but because somewhere between ordinary conversations, shared laughs, and completely ordinary moments, they quietly became important. You don't notice it at first, until one day, their name appears on your phone, and without thinking, you smile. For Ethan, that realization begins tonight, and he has absolutely no idea. The week before exams arrived faster than anyone expected. The energy across campus changed almost overnight. The loud conversations outside classrooms disappeared. Students who normally relaxed on the lawn were now buried behind stacks of textbooks. The cafeteria wasn't empty, but nobody seemed to be enjoying their food. Everyone looked stressed. Even the coffee lines were twice as long. Inside his dorm room, Ethan sat staring at his notebook. He had read the same paragraph 4 times. It still made no sense. He leaned back in his chair. "How is this even English?" he muttered. Jake, lying on the bed across the room, looked over. "Talking to your textbook won't help," Ethan sighed. "I think the textbook is winning." Jake laughed. "You'll survive." "I hope so." Just then, Ethan's phone buzzed. "Emma, library, study session tonight?" Without even thinking, Ethan smiled. Jake noticed immediately. "Oh." Ethan looked up. "What?" "You smiled." "I did not." "You absolutely did." "I was relieved." Jake raised an eyebrow. "Relieved?" "Yeah." Jake grinned. "Whatever helps you sleep." Trying to ignore him, Ethan typed back. "Sure. I'll be there." Almost instantly, another message appeared. "Bring coffee." "Lots of coffee." Ethan laughed. Jake didn't even need to ask who had sent the message. That evening, the university library was packed. Every table was occupied. Laptops glowed. Pages turned. Students whispered formulas under their breath. The entire building felt like it was holding one collective breath before exam week. Ethan finally spotted Emma sitting near one of the large windows. She had completely taken over the table. 3 textbooks, 2 notebooks, color-coded sticky notes, flashcards, highlighters, pens arranged in perfect rows, 2 empty coffee cups, and an unopened chocolate bar sitting beside them. "Wow," Ethan said as he sat down. "You look prepared." Emma looked up and smiled. "I've been here for 2 hours." Ethan blinked. 2 hours? She nodded proudly. "I panicked." "A little?" Emma looked at the mountain of notes surrounding her. "Maybe a lot." They both laughed. Ethan placed another coffee beside her. Emma stared at it like someone had just delivered treasure. "You are officially my favorite person today." Ethan smiled. "I'll remember that." The next few hours passed surprisingly quickly. They tested each other using flashcards, compared notes, explained concepts the other didn't understand. Whenever Ethan got something wrong, Emma celebrated dramatically. "Yes. I knew one you didn't." "Oh, thank you for the emotional support." "You're welcome." A few minutes later, Emma answered a question incorrectly. Ethan slowly smiled. "My turn." "No. My turn." She crossed her arms. "I reject this outcome." "You literally wrote the wrong answer." "I reject reality." Even the students at the next table quietly laughed. Around 8 o'clock, they decided to take a short break. The vending machines outside the library had become surprisingly popular. Emma stared at the snack options. "I swear these prices go up every week. They're preparing us for adulthood." Emma laughed. "I don't think adulthood is supposed to cost $3 for a chocolate bar." Ethan bought one anyway. When he handed it to her, she looked surprised. "You didn't have to." "I know." She smiled. "Thanks." It wasn't a big gesture, but somehow it felt important. Back at the table, they tried to focus again. For almost 30 minutes, they studied without interruption. Then Emma suddenly asked, "What was your favorite subject in high school?" "History." She looked genuinely surprised. "I thought you'd say math." "What does a math person even look like?" "I don't know." She pretended to study him, less interested in ancient civilizations. "I like stories." Emma smiled. "So do I." That single sentence somehow led to an entirely different conversation. Favorite movies. Favorite childhood cartoons. Embarrassing school moments. Emma admitted she once walked into the wrong classroom and sat there for 15 minutes before realizing she wasn't even enrolled. Ethan laughed so hard he nearly dropped his notebook. "Oh, we're laughing at me now? I'm trying not to." "You're failing." "So are you." Around 10 o'clock, the library slowly began to empty. The silence became different, less stressful, almost peaceful. Outside, tiny lights lined the campus walkways. Rain had started falling lightly against the windows. Neither of them noticed how much time had passed. For nearly 20 minutes, they simply studied without speaking. The silence didn't feel uncomfortable. It felt easy, comfortable, natural. Ethan glanced up for a moment. Emma was completely focused. She tapped her pen whenever she was thinking. She quietly smiled whenever she figured something out. A loose strand of hair kept falling across her face. Without thinking, she tucked it behind her ear and kept reading. Ethan caught himself watching her, not because she was doing anything extraordinary, but because ordinary things somehow seemed interesting when she did them. Then Emma looked up. Their eyes met. Ethan immediately looked back at his textbook, pretending to read the exact same paragraph. For the fourth time, Emma smiled to herself. She didn't say a word. By 11 o'clock, they finally admitted defeat. "I think my brain has officially stopped working," Emma said. "I lost mine around chapter 6. They packed their books and walked outside. The cool night air felt refreshing after hours inside the library. The campus was almost empty. Streetlights reflected off the wet sidewalks. Somewhere in the distance, they could hear students laughing outside a residence hall. For a while, they simply walked together. No conversation, no awkwardness. Just two people enjoying the quiet. Finally, Emma spoke. "You know." Ethan looked over. "I'm really glad we got assigned to the same project." He smiled. "Me too. I don't think I would have survived this semester otherwise." "You would have." "Maybe." She looked at him and smiled. "But it would have been a lot less fun." Ethan couldn't stop smiling. For the first time, he realized something. He wasn't looking forward to seeing Emma because they had another assignment, or another study session, or another excuse. He simply wanted to spend time with her. That thought stayed with him all the way back to the dorm. And somewhere between the library, the quiet walk, and that simple conversation, he realized he was falling for her. The next morning arrived sooner than either of them wanted. Students filled the hallways carrying coffee cups and last-minute notes. Everyone looked nervous. Ethan spotted Emma near the exam room. A smile immediately appeared on his face. He started walking toward her, but before he could reach her, someone else did. A tall student Ethan had never seen before. The guy smiled. Emma smiled back. Then she stepped forward and gave him a quick hug. Ethan stopped walking. Everything around him suddenly seemed quieter. Who was he? A friend? Family? Someone from her past? Or someone much more important? The bell echoed through the hallway. Students rushed toward the classroom. Emma disappeared into the crowd, but Ethan's eyes remained fixed on the stranger. For the first time since meeting Emma, he wasn't thinking about the exam. He was thinking about the guy she hugged. And for the first time, he understood exactly what jealousy felt like.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, share, and drop a comment below. See you in the next one.